Welcome to another episode of The Wrench in the Machine, the podcast where we dive deep into the mechanics of the manufacturing world and explore the innovations shaping the industry. I am your host, Mehak Bhatia, a technical landscape analyst, and today we are discussing a topic that's on everyone's mind: the future of work in manufacturing. In part 1 of this episode, we will focus on the technology aspects of the future work in manufacturing. And joining me for this insightful conversation is Dipankar Ghosh, an expert in manufacturing and automation. Welcome, Dipankar.
Hi, Mayor. Thanks very much to have me again. It's great to be here. I'm really excited to discuss the future of work in manufacturing and share my insights with your listeners because this is absolutely something very close to my heart.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dipankar. And I hope our listeners are excited too. So, as we delve into the future of work in manufacturing, what is the overarching vision for a digitally transformed industry, and how will it impact various aspects such as supply chain, shop floor, marketing, sales, quality control, maintenance, competition, and value creation?
Great question, Mehak. And you seem to have covered everything end to end, right from supply chain to value creation, which is good. Yes, and it is true that uh, the future of manufacturing is going to be impacted by, and it's already being impacted by the advancements of various kinds of technologies. So, what if you could leverage interconnected technologies like IoT, AI, and advanced analytics to transform the manufacturing industry so that efficiency and innovation permeate every aspect of the operations? Similarly, what if you could use real-time data sharing and also predictive analytics so that you can optimize your inventory and logistics to ensure that supply chain costs come down and your delivery times improve? For example, think of a supply chain that functions like a perfectly synchronized orchestra where every note is timed to perfection. Similarly, what if you could, in the shop floor, deploy automation and smart machinery so that precision is enhanced, downtime is reduced, and working conditions are much safer than what they are now? For example, envision a shop floor operating with the precision of a Swiss watch, ensuring smooth and efficient production. In the case of marketing and sales, what if you could leverage big data so that you understand customer needs better and tailor your approaches accordingly? For example, imagine marketing and sales teams act together like skilled tailors, customizing interactions to meet specific customers' preferences with regard to what they want in terms of their outfits and their dresses. In quality control, what if you could implement AI-powered inspection systems so that defects are detected with greater accuracy and speed, ensuring higher product standards? Picture quality control as a hawk-eyed guardian, spotting and addressing issues instantly using, for instance, computer vision. In the case of maintenance, what if you could transition to predictive models so that you could proactively service equipment, preventing breakdowns and extending machinery life? Think of maintenance as a proactive planner, scheduling interventions before problems arise in terms of breakdowns. You talked about competition as well, right? So in that case, let us imagine, you know, I'm always trying to imagine. In fact, one of the blogs that I wrote a few years back was imagine and then you shall discover. And whatever I've been telling you until now, it's all about trying to imagine how things can change with the advent of these kind of technologies. So in the case of competition, imagine if you have adopted advanced technologies so that you can get significant competitive advantage and edge. and you are able to innovate faster and responding to the market changes more agilely. Consider it to be like upgrading from a bicycle, your entire operations, entire business to be upgraded from a bicycle to a high performance sports car and dramatically increasing your market position. And I think lastly, you talked about value creation. And what is a business which is trying to earning profits without the ability of creating value? A value has to be created both for yourselves, but even before you create value for yourself, it has to be created for your customers. Only when you create value for your customers, you can create value for yourself. So, what if you could redefine value creation by delivering integrated solutions and services so that you could create more resilient and customer centric industry? For example, imagine transforming a simple meal into a gourmet dining experience, adding layers of value beyond the basic product and service that we provide. And let me tell you, that's not all. This transformation will lead to a smarter, more efficient, and responsive manufacturing ecosystem, turning the industry into a finely tuned, high performing machine. You get it, Mehak?
Absolutely. I feel it's a comprehensive overview, and it's extremely fascinating to see how such advancements can completely reshape the manufacturing landscape.
Right, right.
Okay, so now moving on to paint a picture for our listeners, what do you think a digitally transformed supply chain would look like in the future?
A digitally transformed supply chain will be ensuring a full integration end to end, and which will lead to transparency. The supply chain will be integrated completely using real time data from IoT sensors, and this will allow tracking of inventory levels, production status, and shipment locations with pinpointed accuracy. It's already happening in some places. For instance, Amazon's logistics system uses IoT sensors to track packages in real time, ensuring efficient delivery and reducing, lead times. Now, this will also lead to a lot of transparency between the manufacturer and their customers and the other stakeholders that come in between. And therefore, it will lead to efficiency and adaptability. This integration will lead to more efficient inventory management and quick adaptation to disruptions because disruptions may and can always happen. For instance, in the automotive industry, predictive analytics can reduce muda or the Japanese term for waste by accurately forecasting demand, ensuring that parts are available when needed without overstocking, which is, as we all know, overstocking is a waste, which is the muda.
Okay, I feel that's a transformative indeed. I think that the ability to manage the inventory would be a game changer for reducing the cost and enhancing the efficiency too. But
100% back. Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
but how about the shop floor itself?
Oh, absolutely. The shop floor is getting and will get transformed beyond imagination. It's no longer going to be what most shop floors are now. Automation and connectivity will feature advanced robotics, cobots, and things like AGVs or automated guided vehicles to handle manual and repetitive work. In fact, this is already happening. For example, Tesla's gigafactories utilize automated guided vehicles to transport materials across the factory floor, streamlining operations, increasing efficiency, and increasing safety as well. Similarly, technologies such as mixed reality, augmented reality, virtual reality will enhance the ability of the workers to fare better, to perform better, become more efficient, and become more skillful. For example, in our case, we are developing applications in the domain of AR and VR to help customers, our customers, to train their workers both offline, even before they're put onto the shop floor, and as well as online when they need some reference about how to perform their tasks. So, and we are seeing a lot of enthusiasm among the manufacturing industry to deploy these kind of solutions on the shop floor. And when we talk about later in the next episode, when we talk about the human element, we will definitely touch upon this particular technology there as well. Again, in case of the shop floor, machine learning algorithms will be able to optimize production schedules, and digital twins also will allow real-time simulations. For example, General Electric uses digital twins to simulate and optimize the performance of their jet engines, reducing downtime and maintenance costs at the manufacturing stage itself.
Interesting. I think it would be incredible to see something out of a sci-fi movie, but it only becoming a reality. Now, what changes can we expect in marketing and sales within this digitally transformed landscape?
Extremely important factor, Mehak, because without the market, without the customer, the business has no reason to exist. And as long as you ensure that the digital technologies that are coming up are optimally used and seamlessly integrated into your entire marketing and sales activities, you will not be able to harvest the fruits of whatever you're employing, whatever technologies you're employing on the shop floor or on the supply chain and other areas. So marketing and sales has to be transformed using these digital technologies. So what can we do here, and what should we be doing here? One, our marketing and sales their teams have to work on their work has to be data driven and has to be absolutely customer centric. Data driven analytics and AI can be deployed to enable better understanding of customer preferences, customer satisfaction levels, and customer pain points. For example, even now, companies such as Nike use data from their apps and also their websites to create personalized marketing campaigns, predicting customer preferences and increasing engagement with their customers. So that's a very important factor in terms of what marketing and sales can do using new technology. Another thing that they can use, and that is to use digital platforms to facilitate direct communication transactions with customers. Now, interestingly, when I'm talking about this, I'm just checking my WhatsApp messages and I see that my banker, which is State Bank of India, on a Sunday, a new manager has joined this branch and he has given me a WhatsApp message stating that, sir, I have just joined. This is my name, this is my number, etc. And I'm always available to serve you. And what a fantastic thing to receive from my bank manager who has just arrived at his new branch and who is willing to serve me proactively like this. So that's the kind of attempt that I'm trying to say that marketing and sales can do with digital platforms. Now, interestingly, while I was speaking about this, I realized that we have spoken about predictive maintenance earlier. And predictive maintenance definitely is a game changer in maintenance. But what has that to do with marketing and sales? So I would like to connect Nothing is, disconnected and isolated. Marketing and sales are heavily dependent on the operations of the manufacturing plant, and maintenance, by being predictive, can help reduce downtimes of machines so that we are always on time in serving our customers deliveries, and therefore increasing and enhancing customer satisfaction. So as you can see, everything is interrelated when you talk about technology. So something that you do in the shop floor is also impacting marketing sales in terms of customer satisfaction and customer retention and customer journey.
Excellent. Those were some amazing ways. But coming on to our next aspect, how will quality control and maintenance evolve?
We speak of maintenance and the question on maintenance comes in. Yes, quality control and maintenance are extremely important functions within the delivery process of whatever you are manufacturing and delivering to the customer, your customers. Now, in terms of quality control, real-time monitoring using IoT sensors and machine vision systems can help monitor production in a real-time basis, and of course detecting defects almost instantly and ensuring that defects do not get passed on to the customers. In fact, we are working with one of our customers who who use a lot of steel castings, and they do a lot of visual inspection in terms of the casting defects. And we are building a machine vision system which is helping them to monitor their castings in terms of defects and replace the human eye, which is prone to errors. So that's something that IoT sensors are doing and cameras are doing with machine vision systems to help producers and manufacturers to ensure that defects do not fall through the cracks and go to the customers. Similarly, you can connect your machine's processes and monitor the temperature, speed, RPM, pressure, and all things which relate to quality, and be able to predict quality issues by just monitoring the process parameters of the machine. So that's how quality control, that's some of the examples that how quality control can evolve with these kind of technologies. With regard to maintenance, I've already spoken. Predictive maintenance, again, from data from sensors, will predict equipment failures before they actually happen. And this is something that I'm not talking only about the maintenance of your machines which are producing the products. What about the products themselves? Suppose you're building a motor or a pump or a machine and it goes to the your customer, and the customer has started now using it. For instance, even your car or your bicycle or your motorcycle, right? So in such cases, when you collect data on the field, you are also able to analyze those data using advanced technologies such as AI to predict failures and warn your customers prior to that. In fact, Rolls-Royce's Total Care Service uses predictive analytics to monitor aircraft engines while they are actually being used. And that helps them to help their customers, which is basically the owners of the airplanes, to schedule maintenance before failures occur, and thus reducing downtime and extending also the engine life.
I think it would be interesting to see how this would just redefine the standards for manufacturing excellence.
Absolutely right, Mehak.
Absolutely. That brings to my next question. Let's talk about some competition. Like, how will digital transformation affect competition in the manufacturing industries?
Good question. Competition is good. At the same time, we have to beat the competition. Right. And I'm talking from a
Right.
particular manufacturing company's perspective. Now, one important factor, of course, all that we have spoken about until now is all about reducing costs, improving top line, improving bottom line, and also reducing costs. Uh, now, and all of that actually, help you to gain advantage over the competition. But I would like to actually talk about two other factors which could help a company vis-a-vis the competition. One is it will be creating a level playing field for all manufacturing companies. And hence, what will happen is that even smaller manufacturers can compete with larger ones by leveraging all these kind of technologies. So it really wouldn't matter whether you are a billion-dollar company or a million-dollar company. You have that, if you have the technology, you can beat any one of them as long as you use them properly and imaginatively. For example, there's a company, a startup company, which has been in business for many years for local motors in US. They use AI and 3D printing to produce customized vehicles, and they are therefore able to compete with larger automotive companies. The other point with regard to competition is, and this is again interrelated with something else, and which is sustainability. And we're talking about sustainability in terms of climate change, in terms of environment, our ecology, and life in general. So by adopting, these technologies, companies can adopt and implement sustainable practices and transparent operations, which will again help to garner more eco-conscious customers. And let me tell you, as the world gets educated about climate change, customers are getting more and more eco-conscious. For example, there's a company called Patagonia, which is into the area of you know clothing and other equipments with regard to uh, on the outdoors. They have a commitment to sustainability, from using recycled materials to promoting fair trade practices, and they have learned in a hard way over these years based on experiences and reports that have come out. And this commitment to their sustainability has actually attracted a loyal customer base that values environmental responsibility. So when we talk about competition, we should not forget the fact that technology is actually leveling the playing field for smaller manufacturers to compete with the larger ones. And technology is actually helping in sustainability and transparency for helping companies to be attracting more environmentally conscious customers, which is more going to be the order of the day in the coming future.
That's a very compelling point, Dipankar. And now, finally, how can digital transformation create more value in the manufacturing industry?
Very good question. We talked about value earlier also. And as we said, if we are not creating value for our customers, for ourselves, then there is no value in being in business, right? And I also mentioned the fact that whatever we have discussed until now uh, is about reducing costs, improving the bottom line, and increasing the top line. And all of this definitely brings value to a business because it increases their profits and profitability. But I would like to add a few other elements of how value can get created using these technologies. For instance, it will help create new business models. All of these technologies enables companies to explore new business models such as product as a service, pay per use, and things like that. Uh, Nowadays, people are building products not to sell them, but to rent them out, and also and earn from the rent on a annual return basis. And mm, also uh, because of these factors, this will increase customer value because the customer cost expenditures change from you know capital expenditures to operational expenditure, and they can also get into some kind of on-demand use of the products that you are putting it as a service, and therefore reduce their costs and increase value. And that is how you can create new business models. New business models will also be created based on the fact that, for instance, DG2, what we do, we tell our customers that we have capabilities in terms of data acquisition and data analytics and giving value through data. And you have your domain knowledge. We can therefore get together to co-create new products, new services to help your customer to gain more value. And when your customer gains more value, you gain value, and we also in Digi2 gain value. So this is how all these new technologies, because of the collaborative nature of the environment that it will create, it will increase the value given to the customer's customer, to our customers, and to our sales. Similarly, another thing that will happen, and we have talked about innovation in our previous podcasts, these technologies will enable companies to become more innovative in terms of developing innovative products. Because of the data that they collect from the customers, data that they collect from the field, they will have newer intelligence which they did not have. And this intelligence will not only be new, but it will be also more or less real time. And because of that, they will have the the wherewithal to develop ideas to bring more new innovative products to the market. So that way, it could be smart products, even smart processes and smart factories also will help you as a manufacturer to create new value for your customers. And the third point, excuse me, I wanted to mention was that this these kind of technologies, Industry 4.0 technologies, will increase transparency. When it increases transparency throughout the production process, throughout the supply chain, it will enable the companies to provide customers with real-time updates, and therefore it will improve the loyalty and the trust that they will gain from their customers. So these are some of the three new ideas that I want to put across in terms of how these kind of Industry 4.0 technologies can help businesses to drive more, deliver more value.
Very well said, Dipankar. Those were some great insights, and thank you so much for sharing personal experience. This has been a fascinating discussion. Thank you very much for this conversation, and I cannot wait for the part two.
Thank you, Mehak, and thanks to your listeners for tuning in as well.
Okay, listeners, so that's all for today's episodes, The Wrench in the Machine. We hope you found our discussion on the future of work in manufacturing insightful. In our next episode, we'll continue exploring the future of work in manufacturing with part 2, where we will dwell into the transformative changes that will impact workers across the organizations, from executive suite to the production line. Also, if you have any question regarding the same topic or any other, please feel free to drop into the comment section and we'll surely get back to that. If you enjoyed this episode, then do not forget to subscribe and leave us a short review and share it with your colleagues, friends, everyone. Do not forget to follow us on our social media for the updates on future episodes and more industry related insights. Until next time, keep innovating and stay ahead of the curve.